Good morning, grade 8, and welcome to lesson number 4. So today's lesson is going to be very short because, yay, we finished our section and we've got one page left to cover, and then you've got your revision to do. I think you guys will be amazing at your revision, and if you need help, you know to ask me. So we're doing mixtures of elements and compounds. So we learned that if we join elements with a chemical reaction, we get a compound. But now with mixtures, we can mix elements and we can mix compounds, but there's no chemical reaction that takes place. They are just moved into each other. They are still kept in a specific ratio, but no chemical reaction takes place. The substances that are mixed keep most of their own properties. So, for example, peanuts and raisins. The raisins are still raisins, the peanuts are still peanuts, but they're in a mixture. We find mixtures of elements and compounds in the air with all our different types of elements in the air, seawater, rocks, and living things. So separating compounds and mixtures, this is way more easier than your compounds, because compounds you have to have a decomposition reaction to break it down. But mixtures, it can be hard because sometimes your naked eye can't see the separate components of the mixture. But for instance, if you had to separate peanuts and raisins, which I'm so sure all of us have done, then you just pick them out. You pick with 2 bowls, raisins, peanuts, raisins, peanuts. So it's much easier. So electrolysis and heating are 2 methods that we can use to separate a compound into other compounds or elements. It is not always easy to separate compounds into elements. When we mine iron, for example, we need to melt the rocks that contain the iron in a very hot furnace to get it out. To separate mixtures is usually very physical. So to separate compounds is chemical, mixtures is physical. Generally, it is easier to separate mixtures than it is to separate compounds. If you want to separate a mixture of peanuts and raisins, like I said, you just pick them out. So don't worry about activity 11. I want you to do topic 4 revision. So you've got language practice where you fill in the words. Then test yourself. Name 3 main groups in which the elements in the periodic table are arranged. Remember, if you look at your periodic table, there's 3 different colors. Those 3 different colors are what? Identify the following as an element, a compound, or a mixture. Remember, compound is made chemically. Mixture is made physically. So if you get stuck, look at the mixture, have it in your head and go, how will I take this apart? And if it's physical, it's a mixture. If it is chemical, it is a compound. And if you can't break it down because it is at its purest self, it is an element. Use the periodic table of elements to write down the symbol of an element that. And this is like a puzzle. You need to search for the right one. So you need to know how to use your periodic table. Go back to previous lessons if you get confused, but it looks like you can do it. I think so. The boiling point of pure water is 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. If a certain sample of water boils only at 101.5 degrees Celsius, what do you know about the sample? There's lots of reasons this could be, so I want you to think of one for me. What do we call the chemical reaction that uses an electrical current and then the next a heat? So we did that in our last lesson. And then 6, draw a diagram to illustrate the decomposition of copper chloride with an electric current. Use labels to show what is observed. So I know that might come across as really, really confusing, but if you look on page 85, you've got a little diagram there, figure 29, to help you. But remember, no color in your diagrams. We need to do our labels properly, have our heading that's underlined. Otherwise, I think you guys can manage. Thank you for our very short lesson, but now we've done topic 4. We're going on to topic 5 next week. Thank you. Have an amazing day.